Hey guys, DMaxZ back here, and today we're going to do a couple different things here. I'm going to be changing my harmonic balancer on my 17 L5P. So to give you some backstory, I did a new belt because the belt was bad. Fix our problem, no squeak. Well, every so often when it's cold and I first started, the thing squeaks a little bit. So I did check the pulleys I was in there, didn't see anything weird. But yesterday when I was fixing my brother's LML, his alternator actually exploded on his truck, believe it or not. The pulley just boom. I happened to just look at my harmonic balancer and I'm like, wow, okay, it's moving a lot more than I would like, right? So I'm assuming, because things at 200K, that rubber is, failing or getting dry rotted. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to change that out. I went to GM, local parts dealer here in Iowa, and picked up a new harmonic balancer, a new bolt. I did get a front main seal. Usually I stock these in the shop, but I just didn't have any more. Especially with this being an L5P, I didn't know if it was the same. So I went ahead and bought it all from GM. Of course, I had to pay the GM price. Is what it is. I just wanted the part, especially being New Year's. So I will show you guys the part numbers here, and then I'm going to do a video of how to do this and what you'll need. So let's do this. I will show the part numbers here really quick. So I'll turn the camera around and then we'll walk through what's going to happen. All right, so here's the kind of the box packaging. There's a new balancer. That part number is right there. GM part number. And then your bolt is actually, these are all the same from 01 to 19, excuse me. And then these, I believe, fit 17 through 25 from at least what it said online. So, and then your seal, like I said, I don't think this needs replaced. We're just going to look at it. I just wanted to have it just in case. But that's that there. And then I already got my intake pipe out, my air intake. But what we're going to do today, turn my light on so you guys can see. We're going to have to get all this off, and we will go at it. It's not a terrible job. That fan shroud's the hardest part, to be honest with you guys. But you do need this. This is a 6-speed truck. Go online, Amazon, anything. I think this was $30. There's another piece that comes with it. You have to lock your flywheel to get that bolt broke loose and to retighten it. Right, it's very important to torque to spec on those bolts. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and set up the camera. I am gonna have to drain, because this pipe's gonna have to come out, the coolant pipe. I'm gonna drain so that tank is empty, and then I should be able to pull this pipe here. You don't have to drain your whole system, just because you're pulling the top side, right? So let's go ahead and get this taken care of, and I'll set you guys back up as I'm starting to take things apart, and I'll explain when I'm doing it. All right, guys, so we're on top of the truck. I just drained coolant, so that bottle's empty, but I still hear some coolant in this pipe, so I might have to drain a little more. I just don't want to make a mess. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the belt off, because it's gonna come off anyways. I'm creating a shadow with my headlamp here. But we're gonna remove this AC compressor. You see these lines, it's in front of this bracket. We're just gonna get all this free, because we're gonna have to pull the shroud anyways. So what you want to do is you take this pick and you just want to pick at this here. It's a little connector, and this will pop out, this whole harness. And then these are 13 mil studs. There's 2 of them. And then this whole bracket can actually slide over. If you want, you don't have to take this off. You can just throw it over. I usually just take this off, just something easy for me. And then once we get that off, you need 15 mil for the bolts. I'm going to see if I can prop the camera up so you guys can watch me work the whole time. And then we'll set this over on the passenger side. So let's start there, and then we'll go to the next step, and I'll bring you guys with me. All right, hopefully you guys can see all this. Got you guys set up. I'm just going to take this, push this back. This whole thing slides up and over. Set that back over there. And then what we'll do is we'll get our 13 millimeter. Get down in there. Sorry if you hear my phone going off. There's a guy that I've helped work on his truck, and he's got still emissions intact, and of course just got a warranty, and the def tank heater's going out. So we tried a few things, and seeing hopefully we just had him clean the map sensor. It was caked full. But 13 millimeters here. Just break these free, and this bracket will come right off. I like these ratchets so far. These are those G2s, man. I didn't even look at the price tag, I just bought them. Been wanting these for a long time. Once you get that free, you can get that out of the way. Okay, we'll set this. Set it anywhere you need. I like to set them on the cowl here. Okay, so that's free. So now let's get your belt. Then we'll start working on these 15 mils. You do have a couple pigtails. There's 2 of them. There's one on top here, and there's one down on the right side. Any pigtail, I take a little croil and just give it a little bit of that good sauce. And that way it's easy to come out. And you got these locking pins, and they're kind of a pain. Push them out, and they'll slide right off every time. So let's do this one. Especially when you're in the winter, these plastics get really, really brittle. So you don't want to just try to muscle them out, because you will snap them every single time. Ask me how I know, because before, you know, I got more advanced in working on things. Worked in my parents' backyard and just used what I had. So now I've got the tools and things. A little bit of know-how. So that should be free. This pigtail sometimes is a pain in the... I should have said cuss. I'll have to blurt that out. Let's see if I can get this to come out. There she goes. So I'll set that back over here. You do got, there's one kind of where your main harness comes, they put a little sleeve on there. There's a lot of times you can get those broke free. I like to spray a little croil down on that too, just to help it. And then there is a automotive kind of body panel remover. That helps me a lot, so I'll grab that. So you get this here, just like that at price. Go get yourself some. These are Harbor Freight. Love them. They work every single time. So now we need to get this belt off. I got a big 1/2 inch ratchet with the swivel head on it. Get down in there. Position where you need. I said this is a brand new belt, guys. Okay, that should give me hopefully enough. Alright, so now we got that free. What we'll do is we'll take these 15 mils out. And the one in the back corner back here is a pain. You have to, and I'll show you a trick when I do these L5Ps. Just for standardization across the assembly line, when the GM builds these, they all have studs. This one doesn't need it, of course. But they don't want to put complexity into assembly, right? Just like any lean manufacturing. So you have to get out of the box end wrench, so it does suck, right? So we'll get this all taken apart. I'm going to save some battery life in the camera, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I got the AC compressor removed. And 2 of the bolts you can remove completely, 2 of them you can't because of lines. You just don't want to discharge your system, right? If you don't have to. But here's what those bolts look like. You can see here, you got those studs on them, right? So that back one, which is back here, you got to get at it with a box end wrench, a 15 mil. And it is possible. I went ahead and moved that out of the way. I am ready to pull this pipe, and I don't hear coolant anymore. So this pipe, I got the hose clamp removed. These usually are stuck pretty good. So I take a plastic chisel. These also are at Harbor Freight. And I like to get that hose kind of moving, right? Because the plastic's not going to hurt this. You can twist the hose, but what you'll find, it leaves them on there quite a long time. So you kind of want to break that tension, if you will. They're pretty deep in there. It goes. See, wanting to move now. Just kind of wiggle it back and forth. There she goes. And she's free. So you tuck that, it might spill a little coolant. Perfect. So that's out of your way. Now we can work on this fan shroud. You got to unbolt it, right? So there's electrical connection down here. I want to see if I can show you. Down at the bottom here, and I'll get the camera down there. Clean that up really good though. And then it's just a pop connection. And you can get that removed. And then you can start taking the bolts out of the fan shroud. I'm going to try to get this belt more out of the way. Alright, so let me position the camera so you guys can see what I'm looking at down here. I'll be right back with you. Alright, so I got the camera positioned. It's this harness here. So what you want to do, you want to disconnect it from the backside, and then on the water pump there's actually a little kind of like rubber grommet. You want to take that body panel tool and you want to pry it towards the fan, but just be careful, you don't want to shoot and hit anything. Get that all disconnected, and then you can work on, now after you get the harness, start getting the fan shroud loosened, because then the fan will come up at the same time. You shouldn't have to remove the second panel. I'm just going to remove the front panel, and that should be enough to get it cleared. We'll find out though. I've done a lot of LMLs and stuff like that, so I'm hoping this is a little easier. We're going to find out though. Alright guys, so I got the harness down there at the fan taken out. I got it set over here to the side. What I ended up doing, and I'll show you, I just left that middle and I just carefully pried, because these plastics are very important. So we got to make sure it's solid when we put it back in there. And what I found is the TCM that sits here on the shroud, they just use these pop connectors. I spray them with coil, then I get under the lip with this flathead, a small flathead, right here, this lip. Then I use that body panel tool to pry it out all the way, then pop these out. And I just set it, I disconnected the batteries as well. I wasn't going to, but just since we're touching modules, let's just be safe. And I put it around this hose, or under this hose, just to hold it out of the way. One crucial step that I forgot, and just because I got going so fast, is here at this fan, I have a tool for that, which I'll show you. But usually you leave your belt hooked up to take the fan out, but we're going to have to get creative. I've done it many times, and hopefully that nut's not too tight. Depends on if it's been worked on or not. From what I can tell, this thing's still from the factory this way. But we're going to get this fan shroud out, which these just takes those little pop rivets. I believe there's 5, maybe 4. And then once we get that loose, we can work on the fan, and we got to work on these bolts. There's 13mm bolts. There's one here, one right there, which you got to take a 10 mil because there's a bracket there. And we'll go from there. So I'll be right back with you once I get this all popped out, and I'll show you where everything's at. Alright guys, I did get this shroud piece is loose. I was right, there's 4 of those pop connectors. 2 up top, they're kind of catty-cordy from each other. So you can get this one down here from the top. And then the bottom, you have to go down below the truck, remove the skid plate, which is 4 15 mils. And then you can get right at it. That one's a little more tough, but it's not too bad. I would highly recommend get yourself a nice small flathead, but also get yourself from Harbor Freight the kit, these body panel kits. It will save you guys so much time. So now that that's loose, before I unbolt the shroud from the motor, I want to get that nut loose really quick so I'm not fighting around things, the shroud being loose. This tool here, it's an air hammer tool. I got this from Merchant Automotive like 5 years ago, and it's specifically for the Duramaxes, and this fits on this nut. So if you own a 17 or 19, this will work. I think the 20s, they changed it. So get yourself, I think at the time I bought this for 40. I don't know what it costs anymore. But Duramax fan clutch removal tool, just air hammer bit. So I'll set you guys up and you'll watch me do it. Like I said, you're supposed to have the belt connected for tension. I'm going to try to hold it. We'll see what happens. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. So let's go ahead and try this out and see if I can get it. Alright guys, it's going to get loud. I got that set up down there. So what I'm going to try to do, I got my air hammer here and that piece. I'm going to try to hold this if I can. My arm feels a little too big. It's going to shock the system. Oh yeah, perfect. She's loose. See, this is why I want you guys to buy nice tools. So I wonder if you guys can see this down here. I'm hoping so. Yeah, you can. Okay. This piece just hooks right on that nut, and you get an air hammer. And the air hammer is going to shock it. Yes, you can get a special tool, but this is way better. I've had good luck with this for many years. So that should be loose and ready to go. Now we can work on the bolts, and I think you can get them from up top. Let's just see. So there's one here. You gotta take this intercooler. There's 10 mils you can take out. So there's 1, 2. There's 4. Yeah, I think the one at the bottom you gotta get from the bottom. So, but overall though, not too bad. Let's see. I wanna make sure it's completely loose. I saw. Oh yeah, sweet. That is awesome. That'll come out. So that's why I wanted to do that really quick. Let's get this fan shroud piece out. Like I said, there's 4. One right here at 12. One over here at 10 o'clock. One down about, I would say 4. And this one over here, I'm going to say probably 8 p.m. there. So we'll go noon, 10 a.m. We'll go down, we'll say about 4 p.m. and then 8 p.m. There's your locations. And it's just 13s. So what I like to do is I take my 1/4-inch swivel ratchet. Like I said, you can get the cheaper version. Pittsburgh sells these. Before I bought the Icon ones, I did have the Pittsburgh, and I beat the hell out of them. And they work really good. And there is blue Loctite on these, so we'll get these busted free. And then we should be able to pull this all out. Alright guys, she's ready to come out. So one thing I wanted to mention, something I do, I take a little white Dyka marker and I mark the orientation of this cover. It's just going to help you when you put it back together. And then I got all this out. That bottom bolt behind the harmonic balancer, it does suck. So what you'll need is this setup here. If you don't have a swivel ratchet, please get one. But I got a little 1/4-inch extension. It's got a little bit of flex to it. Just the way it's machined here at the anvil. And then I got a deep 13 1/4-inch, and that worked really well. So I got all those out. You can see here some blue Loctite on those bolts. And then I kind of position this a little bit out of the way so I can get to this bracket that holds the intercooler pipe, which is right there. So you can position it, and then you can take that 10 mil out. But now we're ready to get this thing up and out. So what you want to do is you want to spin the fan slowly, and you're going to pull it out all as one. So I'm going to give it one more look over, and we'll see if there's any issues. Alright guys, we did it. I tell you what, of everything on this job, that's going to be your most pain, is that fan shroud. And I've done a lot of these Duramaxes, and this is a one-piece fan shroud. There used to be 2 pieces, and then this bracket right down here, there's a transmission line that it hits, so you got to shimmy it sideways. So I'm having to remove that radiator hose. I ended up getting it out, but I think we're gonna have to, personally, I'm gonna redesign this fan shroud, because that we can't do that every time. I mean, I don't expect to be working on it like that every time, but that was an hour just trying to get that out of there without damaging the radiator. Thankfully we didn't hit it, so we did our job right. So now we're gonna bust this harmonic balancer bolt, which you can see I already got it set down there. It is a 24 millimeter, which is crazy because the bolt they gave me is the 36 12 points. So and then what I did is that piece I showed you earlier, you come down to the trainee. So let me get down here really quick, show you guys. You come down here, shine that light. It's night now, guys. So all right, So if you guys can see this, let me get the light as it fell. Right there, that piece. So your inspection cover and your Allison. You want to line the teeth up so that grabs. Just do not forget that before you try to start it, because it will do some damage. So now that that's locked in, you can break that bolt loose. So let's go under the hood and break that loose. Alright guys, plan B. I got my big breaker bar on there, and I got this big old pipe here. Let's see if I can get it to... Oh yeah, she's moving, I think. Oh yeah, she's moving. Sweet. Man, I've done a lot of these guys, and I can honestly say that's tight. I usually can do this with just my strength, but this one, no. Let's see if I can just... Oh, there she goes. Oh, holy crap, guys. That thing was tight. There she is. She's by hand. We didn't hurt nothing. Spin this bolt out. This is a weird bolt. I think they went back to the... Because when you buy it from GM, they should give you the 12 point. This is not standard 6 point. Show you guys how big these bolts are. I don't know, thread locker on that. I'm surprised. There's that bolt. You can see that's a first. Usually they're always... Alright, now that we got that bolt out, I'll set that right here for now. Alright. Let's get this balancer out. This should come out the hand. Here she comes. This balancer, you just slide it towards you guys. You kind of got to wiggle up. Just be careful of the radiator. When you're able to, put both hands on it. Alright, here she comes. Oh, yeah. There she is. Perfect. Holy crap, no wonder this thing was moving. Whoa! Alright, just wait till you guys see this. Check this out. I just happened to notice it by looking, guys. And I'm glad I did. Try to get this zoomed in over there. Just this camera. Look at that rubber. I've never seen a Duramax do this before. Holy crap, this thing was gone. It is good that I'm doing this now. Woo! The front doesn't look bad at all. That rear, wow. I'm glad I'm doing this. So now that we got that off, you want to inspect, because it makes sense, you want to inspect all of your pulleys. Let me get the camera adjusted. All of your pulleys, make sure they spin freely. But the most crucial is you want to check those pins. Duramax have dowel pins, that's just alignment. That's why the torque is crucial. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the other piece for the GoPro setup, and then I will show you those pins look like. Alright guys, I want to show you these pins that I'm talking about for alignment, so I can get under the truck. It's easiest to show you. But on that crank snout, maybe if I can get up in here like this, right there is your alignment pin. So you just want to check that, make sure there's no damage. I did look over my front main. There's a little bit of oil right here. I don't think the front main's leaking. But there's a special tool to pull that wear sleeve, and of course there's ways to chisel it, and I'm not doing that at a crankshaft. That's just not how I operate, so I don't have the removal tool for the wear sleeve. Usually I put new ones in when I do motor builds, and I have the the nice installers. But it looks like to me we got all that is just rubber when it was coming apart, which I'm trying to figure out how did it come apart, because that rubber, you can see this is all rubber. Sorry, I'm moving you guys around. I'm under the truck right now. Look at all that. That is all rubber, not oil. So that thing was coming apart, but I don't see anything that would have been hitting it. So very, very odd, guys. So I'm just glad we're doing this. I've never seen this, so hopefully this helps somebody. Make sure you're watching this, guys. When you're looking at your motor, look down at your crank, your harmonic balancer. Make sure that thing is not wobbling. I caught it in time. These pins aren't sheared. It would have been a bad day. So we're gonna wait for the front main. I'm not doing that, but we will go ahead and now reverse the process. I'll tell you guys torque spec, but we're gonna put the new balancer on. Get you guys out from under here. Trying to get better at recording. I need to get a couple more things for the GoPro, but the new one, if I show you guys compared to the old, and then here's the bolt they gave me, which is at what I'm used to, at 12.36 mil front main seal, which is fine to put in shelf. Here's the new one. Okay, so if you look, this is the same side. New, old. I mean, this thing was just coming apart. Oh yeah, listen to that. I actually heard it move. Wow. Well, I'm glad we're doing this. Like I said, perfect time to inspect your pulleys. I already got a new belt put on. I'm surprised I didn't catch it then, but you know, you have to watch it move. It's not stationary. So we'll go ahead and put the new one on and torque it down to spec. I want to say 255 foot-pounds, but I'm gonna make sure before I put it on. But let's go ahead and get this brand new spanking one on, and that should affect. But the harmonic balancer is very crucial to your engine, guys. You know, if this is wobbling, it's creating a bunch more vibration through the entire bottom end, and you risk snapping cranks. Yes, you can upgrade it. I have an ATI one sitting on the bench over here. That's for an LB7. I have on my race truck has an ATI super dampener. But for this being a factory truck, you know, I daily drive it. We'll just replace it with OEM. This was $209 from my GM, so well worth the money. Before I install this, so one thing I wanted to point out, here's the front of the old, which is what I'm used to. This is like a standard style look. Look at this new one. They must have did an update, which makes me think maybe there was an issue. It's got more of a lip and it's got threads already for the puller. So I hope this is, I measured it with the caliper. It's the same size, so they should not be press fit. All these stock balancers are slip fit, and then your torque with your bolt is what holds this baby on there. So I'm gonna give it a shot. But this one thing I noticed is this is a different design. So we're gonna throw it on, see if it goes on, and we'll torque it, and we should be good. So let me do that, and then I'll come back to you guys. All right, guys, I just got the balancer in, and I torqued her down. There she is. That sucked. The supposed to be torqued to 74 foot-pounds for the first pass, then 90 degrees, which I have a torque wrench that measures degrees. Just a Harbor Freight Quinn, which I've used on LS builds, never an issue. The old Duramaxes are just 250, and it's, guys, I'm telling you, this is 90 degrees is tough. I think I got to 80 by hand, and I'm holding onto this bar right here. And I just checked with the Husky torque wrench, and all right, guys, I wanted to do a close out of this video for this balancer change. So you saw the video abruptly cut off, and actually, believe it or not, my SD card became full. So had to upgrade the SD card, and it was already late in the night, so I think it was close to 10 o'clock there. Wanted just to finish it up. Showed you a lot of the hard parts, how to take apart. You just put it back together really the same way you took apart. So, but I wanted to do a follow-up, maybe some things I've learned. This is my first L5P of changing a balancer. Was not difficult, just a lot of stuff you got to remove. So I figured I'd follow up and tell you guys how everything's running, and some other things that I've learned putting it all back together. So I'm going to turn the camera around. I'm going to show you guys here, and I'll start it up so you can see what a balancer should look like when it's running. So here, when I put everything back together after I torqued it, remember, leave that piece in, that tool, the flywheel lock tool to torque your balancer, 74 foot-pounds to seat it, and then you go 90 degrees. Like I said, that is a lot. I have a torque wrench that measures degrees. I was grabbing here, I got to about 80, and then I just grabbed the big Husky and just made sure she was at 250 range, and everything was good to go. So, and I'll have the part numbers that I bought, everything below. But when I put it back together, the one thing I did with this fan shroud is I actually pre-assembled it, and put it in as one. And that seemed to be much easier. When I say one, these are two pieces where you can see my Dyka mark right there. I put this together with the pop connectors and then slid it down in there and then spun the fan on just a couple threads, and then finished kind of putting everything together and then spun the fan all the way. And then I got my, see down in there, my wire connectors all put back where they should go. Don't want any issues there, nothing of issues, right? So that's one tip that, because I had this all apart and trying to pull it out as 3 pieces, and that was tough. So if I to do it again, I'd unbolt the shroud piece from the motor, get the fan loose, and then pull it out as one assembly. You got to kind of shimmy it to driver's side, because that bottom piece under there on the passenger side, it's a little lip that it's got a pocket it sits in, like a radiator's pocket. You gotta shimmy it to the left to get around that tranny line. But you do not have to take the tranny line out. I mean, you can if you want, but I did not want to do that. And everything went back in very, very smooth. But it's running really good. I don't hear anything crazy. I don't. One thing I noticed is it much more smooth. I had a small vibration, I think, because of that. But I'll start it up here if you guys can see what it should look like, and I want to see if I can get a good image of this here. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to get it. I don't think so. But down in there, it is spinning nice and free. And I have the cover on. Right down there, that black piece, I'll put an arrow on the camera there. Feel it's spinning nice and free? That's how it should be. This thing is idling much better. I don't have any more belt squeak. I told you I had a small squeak. But overall, not a bad job. Fan shrouds are going to be your hardest part. So, but I hope you guys like this video. It's, like I said, my first L5P I've done. That balancer is upgraded. I'll put the part numbers below. Hope I help somebody out. And hopefully when you see this video, you'll check your balancer, make sure it's spinning, kind of, in rotation of the motor. You don't want to see any side-to-side movement, right? So if your balancer is doing this, you may have an issue. The old balancer, I have a parts wall here in the garage, and I've been cleaning the garage here, so don't mind. I'm in the middle of organizing again. Got everything up there. This is my infamous broken parts wall. See, the old turbo from the race truck broke. There she is. She made the wall. So, and don't worry, I got anchors around it so it doesn't come down. Be a lot of weight coming down. But got all that put back up. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. And I'll post more content as things come up, and as I'm upgrading this truck or fixing this truck. I will have videos on the race truck. It's in storage right now for the winter. Usually I keep it here in the garage, but I wanted to have the garage this winter because we're building my brother's Mustang motor. It's at the machine shop now. And just other things I work on, I wanted to make sure I had garage space because I'm pretty limited. You can see with the space I have. So when I get that back out in the spring, I got a couple plans for it, so I'll record all that so you guys can see that again. And but we'll focus on the L5P content for now. But thank you for watching. Have a great day.